Well, now for something completely different. And the other day I was talking to a group of 50-somethings who were all lamenting the state of their superannuation funds and wondering if they'd provide the retirement lifestyles they've been looking forward to. With the turmoil on global financial markets showing no signs of ending, in fact all the signs of getting worse, I'm sure they were speaking for a whole generation of anxious 50-somethings. So what can you do if you're faced with this super dilemma? A man who always has good answers and who we've had on the program before is Sydney-based financial planner Tim Mackay. Tim, if you're in your mid-50s and you've been watching your superannuation go backwards for about 5 years and all the signs are the next 5 years are going to be just as rough and you can see your retirement coming up fast, what can you do?
First of all, they can evaluate where they're at today. So look at their debts, their liabilities, work out what they're worth. Then look at their income and their expenses, work out how much is coming in. So evaluate where you're at. Then look at what are your goals for retirement. Retirement should be an exciting part of your life, 5, 10, 15 years off, but set yourself some goals. It could be around your family, it could be around hobbies, it could be around travel, those sorts of lifestyle decisions that you want for your retirement. Then look at, well, what are the options available to you today? There's only about 3 or 4 that you can put in place. Reduce your mortgage or other debt, invest outside of superannuation, contribute to superannuation, or hold cash. And they're the 4 basic decisions that are facing most people today. And the fourth thing that you can do is review your super. Notwithstanding what we just said about those 4 decisions, you know for a fact that 9% of your salary on an ongoing basis is going into super, month in, month out. So taking stock of your superannuation, is it the right superannuation fund for you? What fees you're paying? What's your asset allocation? Reviewing your super fund today. So there are 4 practical steps.
You talk about investing outside super, and I had one person say to me, I think I'll just buy another house and make that my super. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, property is definitely an asset class that most people should have exposure to in one form or another. Being mindful of the fact that most people have exposure to property versus via their ownership of their home to start with. So that's something to be mindful. You also want to have a diversified portfolio. So there can be a danger to putting all your eggs in one basket. Also, you've got to be mindful, by the time you turn 60 or 65 and you're retired, if all of your wealth, apart from your home, is in a superannuation environment, it's effectively tax-free, which is a great way to be. Whereas investments held outside of superannuation, continually, even in retirement, are going to be taxed. So there can be a negative downside to that. Having said that, as part of a diversified portfolio, certainly property can play a part.
Well, I guess if all your money is in super, that is diversified because of what your fund is investing in.
Well, again, it depends what sort of super fund you're in. If you're in a self-managed super fund, then you can make those decisions and you can have property in your own sort of business real property in your self-managed super fund. If you're with one of the large fund providers, then yes, you are more dependent on what their asset or what the investing decisions that they're making within those funds.
You touched on self-managed super there, and that's the fastest growing segment of the super industry because increasingly people are thinking, well, I can do better. But it's not for everybody, is it?
No, certainly not. I mean, for a start, effectively, some of the costs within a self-managed super fund are fixed, and so there's a break-even level of superannuation that a couple should have before they should even consider. Some people say it's as low as 250. We tend to say it's around 350,000 combined super before you should even consider a self-managed super fund. Once you get to that level, however, then clearly it should only people who have the knowledge, the time and the experience to dedicate it to managing a self-managed super fund. Effectively, a lot of business owners already have that skill set because they run a business, they know how to go through the compliance, the obligations. If you don't have the time nor the patience nor the knowledge to dedicate to it, then certainly it's not for you. They can be wonderful vehicles, but for only those people that are suited to using them.
You talk about break-even with self-managed super of about $300,000. So what are the costs involved in self-managed super?
Okay, well the key costs, effectively, you can do a lot of a self-managed super fund yourself if you have the skills and the knowledge. Having said that, there is a requirement that you hire an external auditor, and an external auditor can cost between $700 up to sort of $1,500 depending on the complexity of your self-managed super fund. You'll have administrative/accounting costs. So again, depending on whether you're in accumulation phase or in pension phase, that can range between sort of just below $2,000 up towards $3,000. So those fees can start adding up, but also then there are fees associated with the actual financial products that you're investing in. Not necessarily if you're in shares, but if you're in managed funds, there's fees on top of those, and other sorts of property, there's the transaction costs and so on and so forth. So you need to be aware of all the costs that you're going to incur that you wouldn't be aware of within a retail fund. Having said that, you still pay for those fees. They're just typically they're not transparent to you.
And finally, I guess if worst comes to worst, you can always just work longer.
Well, for some people, that is an option. Other people say, look, I'm prepared to take a lower lifestyle in retirement. Having said that, most people would prefer to take the other option of working longer. But they also, one option for many people take is, yes, they work longer, but they ease themselves out of it. So they take a consulting role. They work 3 or 4 days and ease themselves out of employment in anticipation of sustaining the desired lifestyle that they want to live, those goals, spending time with family, hobbies, travelling, those sorts of things. That's the goals that you want to set yourself and work towards in retirement.
Tim Mackay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew. It's been a pleasure.